New face. It's not even a face, it's a golden mountain. Stephanie, greetings. Keith, hello. David, greetings. Pick, welcome aboard. And I will pass that on to Lady Jerry when she gets here. I'm just going to have a little sip of my coffee. I've got a little coffee for today. Christopher, howdy doody. Missing some of the regulars today, but some new people showing up. That's nice. Hola, amigo. Andrew, good to see you. So I've been in for my ocean swim today again. I'm trying to make that part of my routine. I have to say, it's cold enough. The water is cold enough now. Although I did see some other people in there in just their bathing suits today, but they didn't. I got in and stayed in for 10 minutes up to my neck. It's cold. It was cold. It stung. That's how cold it was. It stung. But when I came out, I felt like I was some kind of superhero. I was like, I can't even believe that I just did that. I mean, I'm in up to my neck, and there's a guy right next to me on a surfboard in a full wetsuit. So I felt pretty good about myself after I did that. And I'm riding that now into this afternoon as I've been looking at the news, and there's people who don't believe that things are happening, and I don't believe that people don't believe that things are happening. But there you go. You know, what are we going to do? I don't know what we're going to do. We got a Bible story today, so that's it's kind of like a polar bear plunge, Joan, except it's not freezing. It's probably, I think, low 60s, probably 60, 63 degrees, the water, something like that. Maybe down to 60. It can get down to 52. I don't know if I'm still going to be able to get in when it's down to 52. That is some cold agua. But at the jiu-jitsu place, I know sometimes on the Sundays they'll go into an ice like an ice barrel, and man, that is that's going on just right above freezing. Super cold. Had another day in the 70s there in CT. I'm guessing that's Connecticut. Pretty nice, I guess so. Andrew, shrinkage. Yeah, there's a little shrinkage. So today's Bible story. I mean, why waste time? Why wait when you've got a Bible story? Why not get on with it, huh? Oh, I meant to show that the televangelist guy laughing about Biden being president. It was super crazy. He's a guy that just speaking of Bible stories. That's a guy who tells Bible stories all the time. So this is about the Tower of Babel. Babel is traditionally thought to be the ancient walled city of Babylon, the capital of the empire of Babylonia. The earlier biblical name for Babylonia was Shinar. Good to know. So the descendants of Noah. This is in the children's Bible. The Tower of Babel comes right after the flood. The descendants of Noah. So they've skipped ahead quite a bit. The descendants of Noah have wandered for many years in the lands of the east, settled eventually on a wide plain in Shinar, which is olden times Babylonia. Centuries had passed since the flood, and now there were a great number of people. Centuries, can you imagine? The United States has been here for a couple of centuries. Now there were people in great numbers, all speaking the same language because they're all off the boat, literally. They decided between them to build a city out of brick with a tower so tall its top would touch the clouds. Of course, we do have, I can't remember what it's called now, but the Sears Tower in Chicago, it's called something else now, that touches the clouds, and there's many buildings that touch the clouds in New York City. But back in ancient times, the idea of building a building that could touch the clouds, whew, that was some cutting edge stuff. This would give them a home, they thought, from which no one could drive them out. I feel like you can be smoked out of a high-rise a lot easier than caves also a bad idea. Anyway, I think the Bedouin tent lifestyle is probably the easiest to avoid trouble. You just pack up and get the hell out of there. More important, it would make them envied throughout the world. And who's going to envy them It's other people who got off the boat. These are the descendants of Noah. They all speak the same language. They're building this tower to live among the clouds, keep them safe from their enemies. Who could their enemies be? They're all the same people. Just like we were all the same people when it was Adam and Eve time too. And then look how that turned out. Bam, we got up to 4 people, and one of them murdered the other one. Okay, we've already been over that. And so they began to build, baking bricks hard and using tar for mortar. I don't know if tar is a good idea for mortar, but I mean, we don't use it nowadays. The Lord looked at the city that was taking shape, at the streets and the houses and the tower already rising up to the sky. And God said, these people are growing vain. Soon there'll be no limit to what they'll want. I'll confuse their speech, change the very words in their mouth so that no one will understand what is said. This is God. He doesn't pay attention for a couple of centuries, and now they're building a tower, and his first idea is to confuse them by making them all speak different languages. And I'm not trying to get into God's head and figure out why he's doing what he's doing, but it seems like he could have stopped he could have stopped this a lot sooner, and there were better ways that he's got a flood. I guess he promised he wasn't going to do a flood anymore. So Plan A, flood. Plan A, flood. Plan B, mix up everybody's language so they can't understand each other. Okay, I get it. And so it was. Soon everyone found that the words spoken by one person meant nothing to their neighbor. That's a lot of different languages. Like there's not even 2 people who can understand each other. This caused complete confusion, as you might expect. The building of the city, which is now called Babel because of the babble of the voices within it, came to a stop. Now you would think they must be working off a plan, and these are people who until just now have been able to talk to each other. You would think they would have been able to make some progress just with sign language. I mean, it was probably freaky that all at once they couldn't understand each other. But you would think with sign languages, and did they try writing? Because, all those Chinese dialects are incomprehensible when you try and listen to them. The Chinese people can't understand each other from Mandarin to Cantonese. But if it's written down, they can understand it. This is clearly, first of all, we're dealing with the Bible, which doesn't have everything in it, and now we're a further condensed version of the Bible, the children's Bible, and I would like to point out that this is a translation from the original Bible. So there's some questions about the ocean swim, which I'll be happy to get to in just a minute, because I'm preparing for the next great flood, which is not going to happen. God promised he wasn't going to do that. Okay. This caused complete confusion. The building of the city, which is now called Babel, came to a stop. The people left the plain of Shinar and were scattered all over the world. Wow, they just quit. They just gave up. They weren't like, well, let's move in. It's not all the way to the clouds. It was pretty good. Well, all we got to do is put some toilets and plumbing in here. It's going to be great. I don't even think they had plumbing, which raises a question like, if you're in a tower that reaches to the heavens and there's not flushable toilets, you're moving out eventually. I gotta say. The people left the plain of Shinar and were scattered all over the world, and in every part of the world from that time on, both men and women spoke in different languages. Well, there you go. Both men and women. Are you kidding me? I think we all know that women speak the same language, and it's guys that are completely confused. But what do I know? I'm just a comedian reading the children's Bible with a flashlight in the middle of a pandemic. You can't trust my opinions. I mean, well, you can trust them, but they're not right frequently. Anyway, so that's the Tower of Babel. It seems like a weird way to get people to stop doing something, to make it so they can't understand each other, but it works. Again, who am I to criticize? We may get a vaccine, we may not get a vaccine. All right, where are we at? Let's scroll up. 60s or 70s in Wisconsin. That sounds nice weather. 80 in East Tennessee. What happens if you swim in the ocean? Is there a chance you just get swept out to sea? Stephanie, no, there's not really a chance. I mean, if you can swim, you're probably not going to get swept out to sea. Sometimes there's a rip tide, so the tide is pushing out, or the current is pushing out right where you are. But if you just swim parallel along the coastline, one direction or the other, you can find a spot then to swim back in. So I suppose you could get swept out to sea if you just kept fighting where you are. That's what happens when people have this drown because of a riptide. They keep fighting it to go straight into the beach, and they can't because the current's pushing them out, and then they get tired and then they drown. So, Stephanie, I guess you're just wondering how strong a swimmer you have to be to swim in the ocean. Pretty aware of riptides that are deadly, but aside from riptides, what's the average likelihood you'll just be swept out to sea if your feet go off the bottom? Pretty slim. Pretty slim. The other day when Thanula and I went in, it was really windy and there was a strong rip. I mean, if you got out, it wasn't a riptide that was pushing straight out. It was a riptide that was going completely sideways. So if you got into the water and you took your feet off the ground, you just start heading south down the coast. But you can feel that. It wasn't like a surprise that was happening. And so that day was pretty crazy. And we were just going out to kind of dunk in. We didn't get in deeper than here, like I mentioned the other day. But today, there wasn't a riptide, there wasn't a rip current, and I swam out, and I was just outside of where the waves were breaking and right next to a guy on a surfboard. Also, there's lifeguard towers out there. And the good news is, on a day like today, you got a lifeguard. There's only 6 people in the water, including these surfers. So if I'd have gotten in trouble, somebody would have come out and got me. But the chances are that you're going to get swept out to sea pretty small. But you do want to be able to swim. So Andrew's saying maybe that's the origin of people speaking in tongues. Maybe. Bob, 70s in Augusta. Yeah, Augusta's having some nice weather down there, isn't it? Rich, no worries about being late. If only Rod Serling could have been there to explain to the Tower of Babel to them. Yes, well, Rod Serling would come in handy almost all the time. 80s here in Buffalo. Oh, my goodness. Seals or rays or sharks. Brad, I didn't see any seals today. I did see a seal last week when I was in, probably about 30 feet away from me. Seal, pelican, and sharks. There's a big ocean. They're out there. But I've never seen a shark around here. Belinda's seen a shark in the water, a smaller one. Undertow is what you hate, Keith. Yeah, I don't like an undertow either. And my understanding is that's what gets people if they go swimming in the Mississippi River. You dive in and you can caught in some crazy currents underwater where you get pulled down and you're eventually going to get spit back up, but you're going to run out of air before that happens. And anyway, got to go north from here if you want to get attacked by a shark. Well, we do have shark attacks down here in Southern California. Let me stick up for Southern California a little bit. We do have shark attacks, but you're right. The sharks do like the cold water a little bit better than they like it down here. All right, so we've got a letter from Grandma. Oh boy, there's some good clippings in here. Oh no, this is the one I read last week. I don't want to do that. This is the one I got open for this week right here. Was there? Oh yeah, here's the envelope for this one. This is around Christmas time. This is from 1991, and I can't remember what year Grandma passed away. So it's Grandma and Aunt Charlotte in here today. Grandma's getting a little bit older as of Christmas time, 1990. So her part of the letter, her handwriting's gotten bigger. You can read it pretty easy, but she hasn't written very much. So she says, expect you are glad you are not in Iowa. This is December 23rd, 1990. I was 30 years old, and I had just purchased my first house. It is good and cold here. Dennis and David, that's her neighbors. Dennis is my age, and David's a little bit older. We're both home. Dennis's wife's parents live in State Center. Jesse's and a couple of other men are bringing those milk bottles with lighted candles in. It is a cold job. And she doesn't write anything else. That's from December 23rd. Then on January 7th, she continues, we didn't get this mailed before Christmas. How is your kitty, Venus? Hope you're having a nice and busy New Year. Pauline, that's my mother, tried to call you when she was here in November. Lots of love, Grandma. I would like to hear from you. That's it. That's it from Grandma. I do have a picture of Venus. I hate to walk out of camera, but you'll be able to hear me. Let's see. Knock something over, but I'm coming back. So this is a picture of Venus, that cat. She's a Maine Coon cat, and that's Venus right there. next to my friend Sam's shoes. So here we go. This is from Charlotte. Same letter. Charlotte puts her letter in. So Charlotte's my mom's sister. Grandma and I are a little late getting our holiday greetings sent. She's writing this on January 7th. We each have included $25 for your Christmas and New Year's present. Hope you had a nice Christmas. And she's writing Xmas instead of Christmas because she's very busy on the edge of a cornfield in the middle of Iowa. We watched you on December 18th program. Thought you did well. That must have been Letterman. Bob and Jean Morris from Harperville, Illinois, stopped to see Mother and I last October. Bob's grandfather, Samuel Morris, and Dorothy's mother, that's my grandmother's mother, Minnie Morris, were brother and sister. Mother, Dawn, Minnie Morris, died when Mother was about 2 years old. That's my grandmother, who's now pushing 90 anyway. She'd never seen them before. I believe he is a band director at Naperville, Illinois. He was writing a genealogy book about their family, which is why he stopped by. They were very pleasant. Anyway, they sent a nice Xmas card to us and a clipping from the December 14th Chicago Tribune advertising your New Year's Eve performance at the Chicago Theater, which is the poster that I had up here for a while. I mailed a copy of the letter to Pauline, that's my mother, and the clipping so she could mail it to you for your scrapbook, my scrapbook. I wonder where that is. I asked them if they were going to the performance. They would be your fourth cousin. We sent a calendar to you. They're kind of nice calendars to keep dates, etc. I suppose you're enjoying your house. Are you far from the ocean? At that time, I was a little farther than I am now. But still, walking distance, 15-minute walk. I think Grandma started a letter to you before Christmas. She has cataracts, and it's difficult for her to read. She was 93. She's pushed past 90 on October, and she doesn't always feel too well. Today, she hasn't felt too good. We have a routine doctor's appointment in Waterloo Thursday, but it's difficult for Grandma to get around. She has a walker and has for a year, but all in all, she's pretty good. We hope things are going well for you and that you will have a good new year. Love, Charlotte and Grandma. So that's the letter from Grandma. This is the picture of my cat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Lady Belinda. Lady Jerry, come on in.
Jerry. Yeah, Lady Jerry on this show.
Jerry.
Lady Jerry.
So Venus was mentioned in the letter from Grandma.
Oh,
I did bring in the photo of Venus Kitty.
Sweet. I met Venus, didn't I? I met Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was still alive in 97. Hello, everybody. How's it going? What was the Bible story? Is everyone filled with the love of,
the Tower
humanity?
The Tower of Babel.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
We all agree it's a bit of a weird plan when you want to stop people from doing something to just mix up the language that they're speaking to each other. But we seem to have that happen. I'm trying to get this letter back in the envelope. I don't need to do this during the show, but I'm saving myself time for after the show.
Look at you, time saver. What a superpower that is. I didn't put enough clothes on after my shower. I've just got a dress and a scarf and a pair of Ugg boots, and it's a little nips. I have to say,
it's
you
chilly.
haven't got the heater on.
Oh yeah, it timed out. It was on for an hour.
Timed out. Yeah. Jake only allows himself an hour of heat and then it's back to
Well, I can turn it back on here.
Oh, that would be lovely.
It just makes a little bit of noise, that's all.
Yeah. I don't know why I sort of, I look outside and I see it's sunny because it really has gotten a little bit cooler here in Southern California, which is actually rather nice. And it was bloody cold over the weekend.
Yeah.
Rainy and windy.
Today it was down in the 50s. Man, it's they're having all kinds of great weather in other parts of the country.
I know. I saw a picture.
That's
oh,
sad.
look at that.
That's sad when that happens.
Yeah, man. Some technical.
Let's get
Where's our gaffer?
Tech support.
Tech support. Yes, I saw some of the celebrations in Pennsylvania, and I was like, is she just wearing a sports bra and shorts? And this is Pennsylvania in November? Philadelphia. Anyway, yes.
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia Freedom.
Yeah.
Wearing a sports bra.
Yeah, well, thanks, Joan. Thanks for the drum roll. Very nice.
So,
yeah.
you, how is your day going?
Well, I'm being pretty productive, I have to say. I've actually even turned on LinkedIn, which I haven't looked at, Jen. I haven't looked at LinkedIn in a long time, but today I thought, well, maybe I should post and promote on LinkedIn, because I've got one friend who said, I just like to look at your stuff on LinkedIn. He doesn't want to have to go anywhere else. So then I thought, well, that's how people network, and I am trying to be a good networker. So I went on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. How did that go?
Well, it'll make me sound... Isn't he sweet? One little toot, and then he gives me the toot machine. And you're probably all laughing like, oh, Lady Jerry, there she was. So disparaging, dismissive, disdainful of the fart machine. And now that she's in control, she fucking loves it.
So talk about
Yes.
LinkedIn. How'd it go on LinkedIn?
Oh, I don't love LinkedIn, but it's doing this thing now. You know how Instagram was going to do that thing where it wasn't going to show you how many people liked a post because it realized that it was very Pavlovian, and people was sort of like, people liking my posts, and it was driving, teenage girls into, terrible anxiety and making them suicidal because, people don't like their posts and write nice things or say they've got big ears. They really want to, they go majorly off the rails. So on,
I have to admit, I'm not paying complete attention to you, but it seems like you're all over the place a little bit right now.
No, because when I went on LinkedIn, because I'm thinking about posting something, and I'm like, well, what happened to all the views that I had? Anyway, it makes me sound pathetic.
Oh,
so
don't worry about
I know, it's ridiculous. They're just hiding them from me.
Joan says they're going to ration toilet paper and sanitizer again in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I just read that today in the newspaper that they're going to be, items are going to be limited again. Oh my God. Oh, Ed, thank you. Ed likes what I'm talking about right now.
He's trying to. It's a joke.
Yeah, no, I know. As Lady Jerry comes in and she blah 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 about who gives a shit about my LinkedIn, and if anyone looks at
Rich
my
DeChute
posts.
says we should all join Parler. I've just heard about Parler yesterday, so I'm ready. I'm ready.
Is that better than LinkedIn?
Well, I was just saying yesterday, like TikTok, that's about played out. So what's next now? Parler?
Yeah.
Where we're going?
Oh,
Parler?
I know. And then just as I learn about TikTok and Elijah Daniels, and yesterday Fanula said to me, I can't believe you don't know who he is. I'm like, well, excuse me, 16-year-old person who lives in our house. Why didn't you tell me? Because you're the person who's supposed to let me know about the major influencers who are on.
Yeah, Mommy needs a helper.
Yeah, Mummy definitely needs a helper. I mean, it's very cute that she thinks it's sort of cool that anyway. But yeah, she thinks that Jake and I are cool and that she lucked out in the parents department, which is really nice. But you have to help us be cool and hip and, I mean, I was telling Lord Jerry yesterday the story. I was talking to my ex-stepmother in London, and she was telling me how when she bumped into one of her neighbours the other day, socially distanced on the streets of Islington, northern London, the woman, Marjorie said, isn't it wonderful about the US election? And then this woman turned around and said, Joe Biden's a pedophile. And she had all these photos on her friggin' phone to show. And my stepmother said, is that true? I was like, oh my God, it's one of these, conspiracy, weirdo. Your friend probably, is getting her information off Facebook. And why did I start to tell
Joe
us about
Biden,
that?
not a pedophile. That's a great T-shirt.
Yeah, that is a nice.
I guess it's called. We don't know if it's Parler or Parlay, but it's the alt-right social networking site.
Oh.
So maybe Rich, we're not going to join.
God.
Yeah, we found that. We found that out.
Nice
we
try,
found that out
Rich.
early.
Because
or maybe we should join. Maybe we should
they'd
overrun
love
it.
me on
Oh
there.
no, it's
they
our.
would love. Yeah.
Who's to say
They
it's
need me.
It's your site? No, it's our site. I'm going to do what I want on your site.
But
Here's my butt.
a friend of mine got kicked off a Facebook group because she wasn't agreeing, and this was the California women who were down on how much tax we pay and want to go live in other places, and were whining. And when she told them they were whining about California, number one, her post didn't get posted, and number two, she's been kicked out of the group. She didn't realize it was a sort of a people who used to like California, but now they're like no, it's too left. We want to go more right. Or am I doing it the wrong way for you guys? That's left for you, then right?
No, I think they're okay.
I don't know. I'm confused.
But
I'm trying, guys.
I can tell you this, that I'm envious of the person who's running that group. I've got a Facebook group that I'm in charge of, and I haven't even been in there in a while, so it's tricky. Oh, we've got a little more time to the show. I was going right to the seize the day.
Yeah,
but we
come
don't have
on, man. No, we're not at the seize the day yet. We've got
minutes
of the show.
Let's ask a little question.
Yet.
I got a little question for you.
Yeah,
Mr.
For me. Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
what
let's see.
posters did you have in your room when you were young?
Oh, I had this really fantastic, sort of really psychedelic one that was in, it's funny because I love the color orange now. And as a kid, my mum painted, we had a chest of drawers, which you guys would call a bureau, or what do you guys call
dresser?
A dresser, yeah, chest of drawers. So we had a dresser that was painted bright orange, and then we had purple bedspreads. And I had this really fantastic poster that had love, and sort of swirly, those sort of 70s big blocky letters. I mean, it was quite, I didn't know anything about acid then or tripping, but so I had that love poster. But you want to know who were the boys I had on my wall?
Well, no, just what poster I had. Do you want to know? You don't want to care what my poster was.
Well, no, I do. We'll get to your poster. It was Farrah Fawcett with her little T-shirt on, and
No.
Okay, who?
No, you're telling your story.
Well, I think I also did. I have a poster that had the Mod Squad up. I don't. I'm having a bit of a hard time remembering. I can remember the bed, the bed head that I had, this cane bed head that had curly, bits of stuff on it, but yeah, the purple and the orange was pretty great. But when I could have posters, who did I have posters of? I mean, it was probably, English, glam rock bands probably was who I had on my wall. I mean, I've always loved David Bowie, so maybe I had a David. I don't know. Sorry, you go, Jerry. You're going to be
David is asking, anybody remember blacklight posters? And I had a blacklight poster, but I didn't have a blacklight. But I had a black poster with two, fireworks kind of burst out, multicolored bursts on my wall. I had that. And I think I had a Peter Max poster, who was an iconic 70s artist, a lot of colors and flowery type stuff. So I used to have that.
I am not following what's happened. I'm such a girl, red swimsuit, David Bowie rocks, yes, Sue, psychedelic colors.
You can't follow. You can't.
No.
You can't go by everything that's going on in here.
No, you guys are, yeah. But Rich, you loved orange until a couple of years ago because you went to Syracuse, and now you don't love it anymore. Oh, right, till about 4 years ago. Well, just think of things that are properly orange.
Tim had a poster of
sprayed.
Keith had a poster of Tiny Tim. Oh man, I remember Tiny Tim. Tiptoe through the tulips. I just read a great interview with Joan Collins today in the LA Magazine. Speaking of iconic figures from the past.
There's a really great Roald Dahl makes those writes really fantastic short stories, and I
think it's safe to say wrote now.
Oh, well, I like to think of them as people I really like. I like to talk about in the present as if they haven't died.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But so there's this. It's an English country weekend at some sort of smart house, and it's Joan Collins is married to the husband, and he's got this fantastic sculpture garden, and he encourages her in front of all their weekend guests to put her head through the hole in the sculpture. And she does, and it gets stuck. And the next thing you see, he sort of disappears, and they think, oh, he's gonna go off and get something to help her. And then when you see him come back with the axe, and that you go, oh, is he going to chop her out or chop her head off now that she's sort of in a perfect
What does Roald Dahl
position?
have to do with this story?
Roald Dahl wrote the story and then they turned it into a TV movie. And it was on something like PBS. It was like British Masterpiece Theatre, and every week it would be a short Roald
So
Dahl
this
story.
isn't a real thing that happened to Joan Collins. Joan Collins played a character in this story.
She's the wife in the
Okay.
story, and she's super ghastly. And I can't remember who the husband is, but he's gonna chop off her head in front of all the weekend guests because he's one of those sort of endlessly suffering who seems like a fool, but he's not. He's sensitive and intelligent, and he has just had it up to here with her. And now that she's got her head, and maybe it wasn't even him who suggested that she put her head in the hole of the sculpture. It was someone else, or she did it for a lark. But she's about to get her head chopped off.
Joan Collins acted in a production
Jake's
of a
going to
Roald Dahl
interpret what I
story
just said because it's very,
in which her husband may or may not have chopped off her head.
No, I'm pretty sure.
And that's your Tuesday play of the day.
Yeah. Thank you, Lady Jerry, for such an eloquent, really, I'm sorry, guys, for the. I know they seem like non sequiturs. They're really making sense in my head.
Oh, they're
but if
total
you just sort
sequiturs.
of go with it, and then Jake brings it in for a landing because he can sort of, he does a little. You pass it out, or you paraphrase what I've been saying.
Yeah, that's Lady Jerry's really summed up my side of the marriage. If you just go with it and kind of assume that one day you'll be able to make sense of it, you're probably right in most cases. And if you can't make any sense of it, well, she'll be on to something else by then.
Right, so yeah.
What's for dinner tonight?
Thank God you're here. Oh, what's for dinner tonight? Well, it's going to be falafel, sandwiches. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. We've got these really good Middle Eastern falafel that I have to say that I cheated. I bought them. I did make kimchi pancakes last night. Really yummy ones with... they were good, weren't they? Didn't you think they were good?
Yeah.
I did... did you like how much... They were pretty vegetable-y.
Yes, I enjoyed last night's pancakes quite a bit. And I look forward to the night's store-bought falafel.
He is totally taking the piss out of me right
Pick
now.
Pick is here for
What?
you.
Oh.
Her favorite Roald Dahl story is Lamb to the Slaughter. I don't know if that's the same one, but
Thanks,
maybe
Pick.
it is.
I'm going to go look at it. Does it feel like Friday because of the way we're talking, or just the week?
It's a little too early for Friday.
There's a lot.
If I
It's
may.
only Tuesday, and man, there's a lot going to happen still this week. Jake is desperate to get it. Can I read the Seize the Date? No, I'm kidding. You read it. I don't really feel
I'm
like
so
reading.
glad you could be here, Jerry, and it just might surprise you to know that we're running long because you got here late, and if you got here on time, it would have been easier. You're like, sometimes you don't want to come in because I don't have time to do that, but in fact, you have more time than you think you have.
No, I got waylaid on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh, I'm late, I've got to get down
that
there.
LinkedIn, it's a real time suck, isn't it?
Well, God, the whole turn on. Yeah, exactly. It is.
So today's Seize the Day is
Hold on, I'm
from...
just going to do a fart. Oh, that's better.
Today's Seize the Day is from Jarwa Hall, Nehru, from October 26, 1930, from prison. Jarwa Hall was in prison then. It is no easy matter to decide what is right and what is not. One little test I shall ask you to apply whenever you are in doubt. Never do anything in secret or anything that you would wish to hide. For the desire to hide anything means that you are afraid, and fear is a bad thing and unworthy of you. Be brave, and all the rest follows. She's kind of all over the place. Like, don't do something, that someone would be brave if you're doing something that you think. But if he's saying do something that, be brave at the end, it's almost like he's saying, don't be afraid to do that thing which is wrong, but do it anyway. Be brave. Go for it.
I have to say it was hard for me to pay attention to Nero. I should have probably paid more attention.
Well, I have to say...
Yeah. Do you want to read another Seize the Date?
One for Tuesday was enough. No, I think that's it.
Okay.
You don't just... That's how life works.
Yeah.
You get what you get and you don't get upset, all right?
More of a wife's one-ups husband story.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the Lamb to the Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yes. Well,
a lot of people talking about the looseness of today's program. Well, today's program is a bit loose, but we have had our Bible story, we have had our letter from Grandma, and we have had some messing about.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. Jake mainly stuck to the program, and then Lady Jerry came in and really sort of effed things up because that's what she does. But
you're great.
You know,
It's my pleasure to have you.
oh well, it's my pleasure to have you.
All right.
As my husband. I mean, aren't I lucky? Aren't I lucky that I got
aren't
this
I
one?
lucky?
Because he is a sweezy. He
Where's
is
the
a
marriage at right now?
sweezy.
Would you
Oh,
say?
it's a fucking 9.97.
Sweet.
I was just another thing when I was up there on LinkedIn. No, because I did
Yes.
also think about you I was thinking about you quite fondly, sweetheart.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You didn't tell him about the growling that you got from Aunt Charlotte and another letter that you're not going to read on
No,
air.
no, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
talk about that.
Well, I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh God, Aunt Charlotte, and you know, I mean, she should have. I mean, you're a guy with a lot of integrity, and the fact that she didn't sort of know that innately, or you know, wasn't able to sort of get herself to that, but maybe she was projecting herself into the other person's role.
well, I'm underappreciated in my time.
But not by me right
But not
now.
by
I mean,
you.
I feel like
No,
I'm doing
and not by any of these people.
Quite a good job of appreciating you right now. Are you getting a bit embarrassed?
No,
Is it a bit much? Oh, come on, you love it. You
Yeah,
want me to.
I do love it.
Yeah.
People are already starting to say goodbye in the
Oh, yeah,
comments.
they've-
It's like,
yeah,
we've
they're
been
like
trying
a-
to say goodbye for
Oh,
5 minutes.
sorry,
All right.
guys. Okay, yeah, that's it. Over and out. I'm
Thank
gone.
you, guys.
I'm done.
Happy Tuesday. We'll see you for Hump Day tomorrow. Don't give up. There'll be plenty.